Please rewind this cassette.
Okay, we're going to be talking about Tar. If you don't know what Tar is, which I don't blame you because nobody saw it, it's from critically acclaimed director Todd Field, who had previously done In the Bedroom and Little Children, two films that I was a big fan of. He was also the piano player in Eyes Wide Shut, the guy who has his eyes covered up, and that he just goes missing later when Tom Cruise goes to the hotel. He's an eccentric guy, a little weird. I always got like weird sexual vibes from the dude. I don't know how to explain Todd Field. He hasn't made a movie in 16 years. He just disappeared. And he's a critical darling. All of his movies did very well at the Academy Awards and got actors a lot of attention. I would say that Little Children helped really put Patrick Wilson more on the map at that point in his career, especially just as a serious actor. And it was a big role that I think led to where Kate Winslet was going with The Reader and winning an Oscar. So Tar is about a world-famous composer played by Cate Blanchett. She has it all, accolades, she has Emmys and Grammys and Oscars. And for about the first hour or so of the movie, you're just watching this chick be like a monolithic figure. She has complete control over every room she's in. Everybody worships her. She has power. She likes having the power. She's confident. And Cate Blanchett's playing it in this very kind of masculine, domineering way. She's very tall and she's kind of got this, I don't know, she feels physical. You know, we see her running. She exercises. She punches bags. She's training like Rocky. But instead of a fight with Apollo Creed, she's conducting art and beauty. She shuts down students who try to push political correctness on her. Everything's just going great for this woman. And then slowly, she gets canceled because of sexual harassment and grooming. And these women that she had affairs with while being in a serious relationship and sharing a child with someone else. So in the second half of Tar, we see her life fall apart. Now, this movie is very critically acclaimed, expected to be that way before it came out, just because of everyone involved with it behind the camera and on the camera. But the subject matter has brought up controversy. This is one of those moments like Three Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri, where the film is overall considered good, but has thematic elements or character decisions that some in one political arena like to call out and have issues with, and then other people prop up and celebrate or say, hey man, what's the big deal? Okay, so what is the issue with Tar's representation of Me Too and being canceled? So the argument is making it a female is essentially Todd Field being, for lack of a better term, a coward, a bitch, a pussy. He doesn't commit. I mean, most of the people who have been canceled are men. You know, it's Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby. It's Kevin Spacey. It hasn't been a lot of women. And sexual harassment in the workplace hasn't been really a big public thing with women. Now, if we were talking about teachers sleeping with students, I think women are, possibly winning that battle. So good for you, equality. But at the same time, what people don't like beyond the fact that Tar's a woman and a lesbian who's grooming and harassing other women, leads one girl to commit suicide. Although I don't really blame her for that totally, but whatever. You can watch the movie and make that decision for yourself. The other problem people seem to have, and this is a lot of people writing about this, and it's really kind of hurt this film's Oscar chances outside of Blanchett winning Best Actress, is there's a female composer in real life whose career is the only one that could be somewhat analogous to Tar. And she was very offended by this, saying that they ripped off her life story, and she never did anything like this. So it's a bad representation of a female who could strive in an industry like this that's predominantly men. So at the end of the movie, she plays at a video game tournament. Now she has headphones on. She's not controlling the timing. She's a machine. She's a robot. And instead of the movie ending on classical music, how it started with the opening credits, we get an ending with like modern techno. It's actually kind of funny. It's like a punchline at the end of the movie. There's a sense of irony here. Now, the people that want to defend this, let's say that lean another political way without saying it, are saying, well, we should see this. We should see a woman doing this. I'm sure this happens all the time. We should see a lesbian. What's wrong with that? I congratulate Todd Field for doing that in this movie. I thought that was a brave choice. And I got to be honest, I don't know the answer to this. Was it brave to, you know, basically do a kind of a commentary on liberalism here? I mean, he's not only challenging his liberal audience, which is going to be the people who watch this movie and the critics and the awards people and everyone involved. I mean, they all probably lean to the left. That he's challenging them with this movie, almost throwing it in their face. Or is he just trying to make a statement on cancel culture that is more reflective of the reality of it? You know, that it just happens to you, and he knows that if he made it about like a fat old guy with a big stomach that's disgusting, people would go, man, I hate that guy. He's an asshole. I'm glad that this happened to him. But instead, by subverting that and making it a woman and making it a loved actress, maybe it makes people think about it a little bit more. Maybe they see some of the complexities in these things, how this kind of behavior can happen in a society, how somebody can be this way and not necessarily negate everything they've done as a person. Like, the question is it a no-sums game, right? Is there an end to this? Do you cancel someone because of who they are as a person and then say their work has no merit and isn't worth studying or celebrating? Or do you separate the art and look at it and its grandeur and what it stands for and just put that human stuff to the side because it's messy? I don't know if Todd Field was really thinking about all of these things. I mean, obviously the movie's about it, but I think some people are overanalyzing the film. I think people want this to be a masterpiece. I think a lot of people want this. It kind of reminds me of Black Swan when that came out. And this movie reminded me of that a lot. They're like, oh, Aronofsky, at the end when she says, you know, I was perfect, that's him saying it to you, the audience. Like when Tarantino said, this is my masterpiece at the end of Inglourious Bastards. Okay, fine, you can acknowledge me, but hey man, I did it. I know you know I did it, but you're watching, so I'm going to acknowledge you and let you know that you know I did it. It's weird. It's like if LeBron, when he broke the scoring record, if you would have pointed right into the camera and he'd be like, yo, my guy, Pat, you knew it. You know I was going to do this 20 years ago. I had no fucking idea. So I don't know what's going on in these guys' heads. Todd Field, to me, I think there is a question here if this was cowardice. I'm going to take that road here for a minute because I do believe in my heart, that he did want to make a film about a man like this because it's more reflective of the kind of people that this has happened to or involved in this conversation. And I think he avoided what he really wanted to say, which I did think was kind of flipping it on the head of the audience who had thought they would love this movie, saying to them, challenging them legitimately, not doing a triangle of sadness thing where he's like, eat the rich, they're evil. And everyone goes, yeah. You know, he's actually saying in this movie, in very intense sequences, there's just like one tracking shot. I think it's the best scene probably of that year of movies, where it's just Cate Blanchett hitting all these cues and she's kind of just beating down the student who says that, you know, he shouldn't study or listen to Bach because he's an old cis white male. And she goes really far in this, and she just treats this kid like shit and dismantles him and breaks down how everything he says is just like obtuse and ignorant and that, you know, why are we talking about these things in such simple ways? Like art means so much more than all this stuff you're clinging on to that you care about. Like, art thrives over all culture. And maybe that's not true. Maybe artists don't have the right to, you know, be arbiters of morality sometimes. You know, I can get away with who I am because I'm commenting on it through things I make. I feel like that's something that, like, I don't know, religious zealots think too, people who run mega churches. I don't think there's too much of a difference of a line in some of these things. It's either people saying that there's someone who creates everything, or I am the creator who creates everything. But it's still this kind of God complex, either way you look at it. And I think what Todd Field is trying to say in the movie is something about, you know, the indulgence of artists, the grandeur of artists, the ego of artists, the power that corrupts those who reach a certain level in anything, be it sports. Like, this could have been an interesting movie. It was about a basketball player that was, like, you know, at the very top. But he chose a composer because I think he chose the most, like, pretentious, artsy thing that would possibly tie in with what he's saying about this. And in the process, it reminded me of Michael Haneke movies where I get what he's saying, but I also think his message gets a little messy, especially in stuff like Cachet, where it's like, should you even be commenting on the stuff you're saying here as a German man? If you've seen the movie, you might know what I'm talking about. Uh, but I do think maybe he wanted to really make a controversial movie that was attacking a lot of the concepts of cancel culture, and he didn't commit to it fully because he was worried about the response, which is happening now. So I do think he did use like Kate Blanchett as sort of a blanket to protect himself. But I could be wrong. That could just be like me going that way because I'm a coward and I'm not creative enough to think about it the way he did. Still, I do like the movie. I would recommend it. It's a little long, but whatever. Everything's like 3 hours nowadays. I just saw Avatar 2 for the second time. And Brendan Fraser was very good in it as the whale that teams up with the little blue boy. So I can see why he's getting Oscar talk. It was pretty steamy. They had a lot of romantic chemistry. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Tell me what you think about Tar in the comments. Like, do you think this captured cancel culture? Is there a debate worth having about this? And, what do you think Todd Field was trying to say? Because I think it's a lot of things. So I want to read what other people have to say about it.